Welcome to our first presentation, Narrative Essay Writing. A narrative essay has unique components. It is told in the first person, which means you are going to use I and my as opposed to they or people. It employs descriptive language with the 5 senses. It's usually about a single event, told in chronological order and with a setting. However, it does include a thesis, main ideas, reflection, transitions, and conclusion. A narrative essay expands on what we already know, but now we have an opportunity to develop our ideas more. You're going to pull from your own knowledge base and your own experiences for this paper. However, we are still going to use the basic structure of an essay: an introductory paragraph, 3 to 5 body paragraphs, and a concluding paragraph. Let's look at each part more closely. An introductory paragraph has 3 jobs. First, to hook the reader. Second, to provide a setting and introduce the characters. And finally, to establish the purpose of the essay through a thesis statement. When you begin writing and pre-writing, you should ask these questions. What is the basic idea of the story? Where is the story taking place? When is the story taking place? And who is in the story? The format of an introductory paragraph is very specific. As you can see, we have an upside-down triangle with the wider base at the top funneling down into the point. Your hook is going to be more broad or general, which is represented by that wide upside-down base. Next is the who, what, when, and where. And then finally, your thesis, the purpose of your essay, becomes more specific. The hook is the first sentence of the introductory paragraph. The purpose of a hook is to pull the reader and grab the reader's curiosity. Your hook should transition smoothly into the rest of your introductory paragraph. So keep that in mind when you're trying to be creative. Creativity is key, but you don't want to pick a hook that has absolutely nothing to do with your topic. Your thesis does the same job as a topic sentence in a narrative paragraph. It has a main idea and a claim. It is the purpose of your essay. So if you don't have a thesis, you don't have a purpose, and your essay will be very confusing for the reader. However, I do want to note one thing. While you may start with a working thesis, I'm going to encourage you to really figure out what your story is before you commit to one specific thesis. It is perfectly fine to rewrite your thesis once you have a better idea of where you're going. The body paragraphs look similar to the body of a narrative paragraph itself. They develop the story. The first body paragraph is your rising action, leading up to the event. The second body paragraph is the climax, the event itself. The third body paragraph is the falling action, or what happens afterwards. However, you do not have to limit your essay to 5 total paragraphs. Each of these actions can take up to 1 to 2 paragraphs. The story is told in chronological order. Transitions will help signal the end of one paragraph and the beginning of the next. They will give your essay a feeling of unity and allow the reader to follow the story easily. Some common time transitions are before, second, later, meanwhile, after, then, at last, since, during, finally, last, now, first, while, eventually, and soon. Please remember to use a comma after a transition. The concluding paragraph has the same function in a narrative essay as in a narrative paragraph. It must synthesize your main idea and claim as well as provide your reflection. The conclusion can challenge the reader's thoughts and beliefs about the main idea. It can tell what the writer has learned from their experiences. It can provide a call to action, or it can do all three of those. Going back to that triangle, we now have a right side up triangle with the point at the top and the broader base at the bottom. So you want to think about the conclusion similarly. You want to start the conclusion by synthesizing the main idea and claim in your paper. It's very specific. Then reflect on your event. And as you finish off, you want to become more broad so that your reader can relate to this narrative. I like to say it's best to finish with a mic drop sentence, something that leaves people thinking.